Yeah. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get high, but to the masses, we a podcast called Verified. I am your host. I am JopauL. We are sponsored by Radio Pushers of Results in Ohio. Make sure you check us out at the verifiedpodcast.com. We have a very, very special guest. We have a true Renaissance man right now. I don't know how many hats this brother, wears, because from being a radio personality, an actor, an MC, a DJ, because I just tuned in on his live and I saw that he was just mixing and cutting it up. So my man Torae in the building, host of Hip Hop Nation, the tour guide on Sirius XM, and been in the game for just as long as I have, since 1996. So praise and salute. Welcome to the Verified Podcast, my brother.
JopauL, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Just trying to maintain until we kind of get back to normal. It's great that we have kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel now. It's been a little weird, ever since right before they announced that they had the vaccine. It was like, is this going to end? Are people going to, get a hold of themselves? So,
right.
And speaking about that, being that we are still in a pandemic, how you doing? How you holding up? I know that this has, really tested us in a lot of different ways and cut our revenue stream really in half. We can't go out and hustle and do the things we used to do. So how you holding up mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, lyrically, all of that?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously adversity comes in all shapes, sizes, types, and ways. But you just figure out, how to push your way through it. So I'm healthy. The family is healthy. That's the most important, because, we've seen how many people passed away, how many people we lost in this thing. So just being healthy is important. Frame of mind is good. And social media is good. Like I've been able to kind of build out a tribe of my supporters, people who've been buying my music and rocking with me over the years. And we just jump on live and we have a good time. So, it's therapeutic for them. It's therapeutic for me. And outside of that, I'm on radio every day and I'm songwriting for other artists. So I'm still pretty active, man. It's a blessing.
Okay, so you listen, you've turned this pandemic into something that actually will create new bag situations. So I respect it. Exactly like the Verified Podcast. I mean, I've been in the music game since 1996, and I was about to release a body of work with 20 songs, and they were all fire. But then the pandemic hit, and it was just doesn't feel right to release music right now. I want to be able to, I'm very passionate about music, so I feel it in a different kind of way. So I didn't get that vibe okay, it's ready to, come out and promote. It just doesn't seem right now. So the birth of the Verified Podcast happened. This way I can entertain my peoples. I get to talk to people that I never thought I'd be able to talk to, and I'm sure you can share in that experience because you have interviewed everybody. Before we get started, who have you not interviewed? Besides JopauL, of course.
Besides JopauL, I mean, it's a couple of people. There's always people from all different walks of life, and some OGs and some new artists that I enjoy. So I'm very selective in who I sit and spend my time with, and it's been a blessing, man. It's been good just getting a chance to chop it up with a lot of my heroes and people, like you said, man. Some people that you never really thought that you would get a chance to chop it up with, or meet, or engage with, or even have friendships with. So it's pretty
Facts. It's like I just had Wendy Day from the Rap Coalition on my podcast last week. Shout out to Wendy Day. I fucking love her. I've been trying to talk to her for 20 years. So it's, and I told her that I was like, it just seems like yesterday that me and my, old manager were talking, oh, we got to get this album to Wendy Day, because once she hears your story, she'll do something. It's like, but she cleared that up. She was like, no, I really can't do anything for you unless you have something done for yourself, which is logical. It's the same thing in any business. And it's the same thing with, labels. You got to show proof of concept, and then they get on board. Show them that there's something viable, or that they can collateralize with something tangible that they know that, okay, it's worth the investment right now because you're already popping. I know that it's not a losing battle. And that's all that labels are. It's just a bank that they just want to win and know that they have cross collateral on fucking everything,
Sure.
Those bastards. But anyway, so Mr. Torae, I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I want to get into the origin of Torae, and Torae is your real name, correct?
Yeah, that's what my mama said as soon as I came out, that's what she came up with.
Okay, so streetcar named Torae. like I did that because Torae car, streetcar.
That's
there
big.
you go.
I caught the wordplay.
I appreciate that. I mean, listen, true lyricism, you know what I'm saying, speaks for itself. Sometimes you don't got to point it out, you know, and that's one thing that I respect about you. There's not a lot of rappers that I really like. I mean, I'll be honest. Yo, your lyricism and your bars and your wordplay is fucking exquisite. Like, I mean, I knew a couple of your joints, you know, through the years because surprisingly we're running a lot of the same circles, you know, and we'll get to that, you know, as the interview goes. But your consistency with the pen, as well as your ability to make, you know, decent songs, like if not, you know, borderline hit songs. I mean, depending on who's listening, you know, it's phenomenal. So I really fuck with your pen. I really fuck with your wordplay. I like what you do, and you know, through investment, I don't want to say investigating, through researching you, you know, I've definitely became more of a Torae fan than I was before, because, you know, once you start learning about people, it's like, oh shit, it's like this and that. And we're going to piece together everything. There's a lot of things to get to. So talk to me about young Torae, you know, young Coney Island wild boy Torae, unless you were born someplace else.
Nah, Coney Island, you know, that's where the wildness began, at least. But yeah, man, grew up in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, Coney Island. And, you know, I just came up exactly in the time of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So it's so dope to have been just, you know, kind of getting my footing in the 90s and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I didn't put my first project out until 2008, but just grinding and running around and being on projects and mixtapes and, you know what I'm saying, like trying to get to the radio and all of it. I just always loved hip hop and the culture, and I was trying to figure my way in. Being from Coney Island, you know what I'm saying, with no cosigns and wasn't no labels out there, and you know, it was like you had to figure this shit out. So
right, and before hip hop, Coney Island was known for, you know, warriors come out and play, or you know, the Coney Island Pier, you know. So
yeah, like people know the amusement park, people know the beach, people don't know the projects though. Cary Gardens, you know what I'm saying, Mermaid houses, Coney Island houses. People don't know that part, and it's good that they don't. Stay safe.
I know a little something about that. Yeah, I stay far away from those places. I mean, listen, I had a hard enough time when I used to hang out, you know, in East New York on Stanley Avenue and in Brownsville and Saratoga. So it's like I was like, all right. Yeah, it's like, okay, I got out of there unscathed. I was like, I'm gonna stay away from Coney Island. You know, what was your earliest memory of hip hop? Like, how did you really get into it? What did your parents do?
My pops was normal hip hop pops. You know, he was in and out of the streets and all of that. My mom, you know, she was a young mother, so she was kind of growing with me. She had me pretty young. She had me at 18, so she was kind of learning like around the time I was learning. And my earliest memory of hip hop, I mean, like I said, man, I was just fortunate enough to never know a time without hip hop. So I would watch Video Music Box. I would hear the cars riding by. You know, I would see the hustlers outside with the Benzes or the Maximas, and they'd be playing this music that just was like my heartbeat. It was like my pulse. You know what I'm saying? It was everything. And so that's really the earliest I remember, is just like, it's by the time I was able to be cognizant of what I was hearing, it was hip hop music, and it was for me. Got it.
Now, did you embrace any other part of the hip hop culture, like graffiti or breakdancing or anything like that in the early years? Or
nah, I wasn't never. I mean, I had a tag. You know what I'm saying? I had a tag, but I wasn't never like dead, like running around on the side of the subway and, you know what I mean, like tagging up and all of that.
Yeah, me either. My parents would have beat my fucking ass if they found me like tagging up on public property. Oh my God, they would have killed me. See, yeah. I embraced hip hop at an early age with breakdancing, like me and my twin brother. And if I look familiar, it's because you used to see my twin brother every single day in Fort Greene Park with his little white dog, pushing his daughter around in the stroller. And he used to talk in Fort Greene. Used to talk to him, you know, a couple times where you used to see him like every day as you were walking. But
crazy.
Told you, we running a couple of things. I mean, I had him watching you because I knew I was going to be interviewing right. I needed research, but me and my twin brother, we embraced the hip hop world at a very early age because we just loved breakdancing. So it's like we learned, I'm an 80s baby. So it's like, we learned, as it actually happened. And rest in peace, Shabba-Do, breaking,
absolutely,
an absolute legend, in that.
Absolutely.
So it's like we embraced the hip hop culture, pretty early in it. So what was like some of the like artists that you grown to love that you knew that hip hop was just for you?
Man, it's so many, yo. Big Daddy Kane, of course, who's is mind blowing to me. Like, that's my man. Like, I text Kane, I call Kane, and we have a conversation, or like, that shit is crazy to me. Same with Master Ace, same with DjPremier, rest in peace to Guru, same with Pete Rock. These are people that I grew up admiring and listening to and loving their music, and
now you're friends with all of them.
They like the soundtrack to my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm so grateful that they did what they did, because that allowed me to do what I did. And at some point our paths cross, and it's just a beautiful thing. So like, just a lot of the legends, a lot of the greats. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of and even some of the not greats, just motherfuckers who have fly by night records and songs. Like, everybody who was contributing and making dope shit, I was a fan of, and I was definitely impacted by. Shout out to Buckshot as well too. Buckshot Duck Down, very, very important and instrumental in just my development as an artist.
Yeah, and speaking about Duck Down, it's like you got a song with one of my favorite MCs of all time, and rest in peace to the Barbarian, Sean Price.
Man, my brother P, yeah.
The fact that I don't think people realize how legendary you are. And I don't mean to be like blowing smoke up your ass or being like this, oh, Torae, you're the greatest.
Right. No, we don't do that.
But, got songs with the Barbarian, songs with Pharaoh Monch, got his own talk show, has several songs with DjPremier, Primo.
That guy.
It's fucking crazy. So because I can only imagine, I haven't got, to that level where I got a Premier beat or anything like that. I did have a couple of Storch beats. I did have a couple of Charlemagne beats, but never on the level of Premier. And I can only imagine when like you and him are rocking out. It's like, yo, I grew up listening to this dude and now I'm rapping on his beats. That's probably crazy. And we're going to get to that because I want to know all about that. You're going to be spilling the beans on all that.
For sure.
Talk to me about Torae in junior high school. Like, paint the picture for us. Were you a ladies' man? Were you a sports guy? Were you a little Casanova, little badass, little thug?
I was probably a mixture of all of those in junior high school. I didn't really get my footing until I got to high school. But in junior high school, I went to Sethlow Junior High School in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, which was a crazy time, right? In the like mid 90s to be in Bensonhurst with all of the racial tension. I remember we would get chased home from the Bay Parkway boys, and it was just like nuts. It was nuts. But yeah, it was like a little bit of me kind of figuring out how to get into hip hop, because I think I was even at that point already aspiring to be an artist. Girls kind of started liking me around the time, so I was figuring that out. Just trying to figure out my style. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was like, damn, I can't get every pair of Jordans, so I got to make this one pair last. You know what I'm saying? So just normal, young.
You preaching to the choir. I mean, I have a twin brother, so my parents never made a lot of money, so we had to share everything. So it's like remember when the pump sneakers came out?
That was right around that time when I was in Sethlow.
We had to share those. So it's like Monday he would wear them, Tuesday I would wear them, Wednesday he would wear them, Thursday I would wear them, and then we'd have to flip a coin for Friday, which
somebody stay home on Friday. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then if we got in trouble, like my mother would take them away and be like, that's it. You're wearing Dex and Keds or British Knights.
Yo, having a twin brother is crazy. That is
it's like having like your best friend and your worst enemy, all at the same time. But I'll tell you one thing. Any UFC fighter that has a twin brother is nasty at grappling, because me and my brother, we have put ourselves in every position possible. We know every fucking submission. Neither one of us are trained, in any school with anything like that. But we got each other into every hold possible. It's like fighting yourself,
right.
So to speak.
You got to get Dana White on the phone. You got to make some things happen.
Yeah, well, not at this age. I mean, maybe like 20 years ago, maybe. But now I'll stumble in the ring and I'll break my leg just walking in there. but I can still hit a lick on the street. So any of you motherfuckers want to test me, I still got them hands.
Don't get it confused, people. Don't get it confused.
Exactly. So talk to me about when you first went into the studio. Like, talk to me about that whole process of finding a producer or engineer or one of your boys. Like, walk us through it.
So the very, very first time I went to an actual studio, like a real studio, my man Mighty Real from Coney Island took me to the studio, and he was part of the boot camp clique, ironically. And the first studio session I was ever in was a Helter Skelter session, and I got a chance to watch them record.
That's fucking awesome. Helter, I love that Magnum Force album.
Magnum Force is crazy. Yeah, they was doing Soldiers Gone Psycho off the Nocturnal album, and I just sat there like a fucking fly on the wall and just learned and absorbed it, and really just I couldn't believe I was there. It was like an out-of-body experience. So that was my first time in the actual studio. My first producer was a guy by the name of Sylvan AS1, and he actually lived in Coney Island too. So which is crazy. I'll give you like the short story. I was like, damn, I'm a rapper. I got a pen, I got a pad, I got a composition notebook, but I ain't got no beats, I ain't got no studio, and I ain't got no money. So how do I connect the dots to make these things happen? So I said, all right, I got to get a job. I got to figure out how to get some income. I got a job at McDonald's, and I got a job at McDonald's so that I could stack my money to pay for studio time. Ironically enough, every Sunday, a guy would come through in a blue Mercedes-Benz buying breakfast. He was in the car with an older lady who I assume was his mother, and he'd be buying her full breakfast every Sunday. So one day he pulls over. He's like, yo, homie, I see you out here all the time. You always working hard. Like, what's your name? What's up with you? Because you're the type of person I would want working at my company. I was like, what kind of company you got? He's like, I'm a record producer. I said, well, just so happens I'm a record producer, and I'm in need of a record producer because I want to make records. And I rhymed for him, and the rest was history. He took me under his wing. He was the first person to show me the ropes of the business. And Sil was Mobb Deep's first producer. He had a group called Y'all So Stupid that signed to Roddy Records with Dallas Austin. And it was actually Sil's demo, the records that he did, that got Mobb Deep their first deal on 4th and Broadway as they were Poetical Prophet. So he was definitely somebody who I learned a whole lot from, and that's still my guy to this day. And that's how I got started, man. That's how I started recording my first records, was with my man Sil, who lived across the street from me and had a studio right in his crib.
Oh, that was clutch right there. That was like my first producer that, like, you know, rest in peace. He died of a heroin overdose a couple of years back, you know. So rest in peace, my man Insight. It's like he lived like 4 blocks away. I literally could like walk out of my house and then, you know, ride my bike or just, you know, like walk up the block and be able to hit the studio. So your first session, you were in a studio session with a bunch of legends. So how was it when you actually in the booth, like for the first time and in front of them?
I didn't record that day. He just took me, like, he was like, I'm going to take you to the studio because you've never been to a studio. I'm going to start bringing you around. Basically, he was like the conduit for me trying to get from literally Coney Island is an island, right? So for me being off on an island to getting into the mix and being around people and just being there, like just being there was a gift in itself, right? You know, learning, watching the process. These are guys who I'm a fan of. So like really being around real rappers was crazy for me. My first time like recording, like I said, was with my man Sil, and he showed me how to make records. You know, he showed me how to make records, figure out what bars were. Like, yo, you got to stop right there. Because I didn't know how to count bars or nothing. I'm writing 80 bars, 3 80-bar verses, like crazy shit. He like, yo,
listen, I'm from Staten Island. All we had was Wu-Tang, and all they have is bars. Like, I think there's only 3 songs that they have, you know, with choruses. So, yeah, so it's like, you know, oh, yes, a spit of 16? What do you mean?
Yeah, I never understood that concept. What is spit of 16? But once he taught me, you know, how to stop at 16 bars, how to come up with choruses and things like that, I really started to learn how to make a rap song that was formatted for radio. And, you know, from there, I just kept going. I just took on from there.
And what did your parents think about you doing music?
They didn't really, well, like I said, my pops wasn't really around. My mother, she didn't fully get it. You know, she was like, all right, you got to remember, like, you know, rap was so young. It was in this infant stage. So people didn't see it lasting 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, being a multi-billion-dollar industry. So she let me do what I wanted to do, but it was always like, yo, the firefighting test is coming up. Yo, the sanitation test is coming up, shit like that. And so that was her way of just trying to make sure that her son had a good life, not knowing that none of that shit was going to matter because I was going to figure this shit out.
Gotcha. Are you an only child or you got any brothers and sisters?
I have younger siblings. I got a couple younger siblings from my dad, and I got some younger siblings from my mom. My mother's kids actually grew up in the house with me. So, you know, I grew up as the older brother to a brother and a sister in the same house.
Okay. And what did they think about you doing music? Were they fucking with it? Did they like it, or were they your worst critics?
They were so young. Like, my brother is 10 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So, 9 years younger than me. So by the time, you know, I was 18, right, making music, he was only 9. So it didn't really get it. It's like, and not until now that everybody fully understands what I do. But my brother is 9 years younger than me, and then my sister is 9 years younger than him.
Okay, so she was a sperm when you were making your first record, basically.
I was right, exactly. She was still swimming. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I was putting songs
out. How would you say that your style, basically, what were like the 3 artists that you used to listen to that basically created your style? Like, what made you, like, there's a way that you deliver. I mean, for people that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and I am starting to get a little wrecked, so, you know, just excuse me.
I like it.
The way you deliver your bars, it's like, it's so natural, and it flows effortless. You know, that word, whatever it is.
Yeah, effortlessly. Yeah, that one.
So what was who were like the MCs during that time that were really like driving your pen? I know with me, it's like when I hear certain artists, it's like me, just the beast in me. I always want to one up, you know, them. So it's like, I'll want to go home and I'll just write the most venomous, you know, type of, you know, murder casualty, you know, type of rhyme you could possibly think of. So it's like, who were the MCs that were kind of swimming in your head while you were starting to pen your first rhymes?
Definitely Buckshot. You know, he was somebody who I looked up to, man, because he just had it all, man. He had the lyrics, he had the delivery, he had the voice. And I learned breath control from watching Buckshot. Like, seeing him perform and the way he takes his breaths at, and the way he never skips a beat, like, was crazy to me. KRS-One I watched from afar. And that guy who took me to the studio, Mighty Real, he was one of the guys who really helped me early along. He's like a real Coney Island legend. He's a guy who I owe a lot of my success to, because he's one of the first people that believed in me, one of the first people to ever take me anywhere, and one of the first people I really wanted to impress. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to impress Mighty. So every day I went outside, I had 4, 5, 6 new rhymes ready to go, because I needed his face like to go. I needed his jaw to hit the floor. Like, oh my God. So
I know that exact feeling. The people that I came up with, some of the best lyricists, you know, in the game. So I was in a rap group called Sex, Money, and Guns, or SMG, with Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler, DV Alias Christ, and Ice-T. So when it came to Smooth, with the whole broken language and the way that he spits, it's like, I literally didn't even want to come out till I had 10 new rhymes to basically, you know, I wanted to impress them, because one, being white, I don't know if you recognize, you know, I am a little, you know,
I was like, this guy needs a 10.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. and I'm Jewish, and I'm from Staten Island. So it's like, I got 3 things working against me when it comes to hip hop, when it comes to Brooklyn rappers. It's like, all right, he's white, he's Jewish. But I mean, Jewish and black people, we get along like great. You know, I mean, people, it's the Hasidics that really, listen, I don't even
that's what should be getting a little sloppy over there. But yeah, for the most part.
Right. So it's like, I totally understand in wanting to impress the person who's kind of like taking you like under their wing, somebody who's already been there and like is a legend. So it's like, you want to come, I mean, it sharpens your steel. It's almost like it forces you to want to do better. It's almost like when you get on a song with any known like dope rapper, it's like, I got to come with it. I got to come with it hard.
Smooth the Hustler is not only one of my biggest inspirations, he's one of my favorite MCs. Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn is phenomenal. Him and Trigger together were always phenomenal. Like, I'm a big Smooth fan. When I was doing my album in 2009 with Marco Polo, Double Barrel, all I listened to was Onyx and Smooth the Hustler. That's how I got in that headspace to deliver that album the way I did. Smooth the Hustler and Onyx, all I listened to. But anytime anybody give me an opportunity or give me a mic to crack and they ask me, Smooth the Hustler is definitely up there, man. One of my favorites. He's an amazing MC.
When I heard him go, it's the hustler, Lone Shark from Saratoga, Av Saratoga from Lone Shark, hustle the it. I was like,
yo, crazy.
I was like, why
would your brain make you do that?
I ask him more. I listen. He's probably like one of my like closest friends, you know, in the game, and he sends his regards. I spoke to him this morning. In dealing with somebody of that caliber, it's like I understand that I have to put in that time. Almost like, you know, you sitting in that studio session, you know, not recording the first thing. It's like I knew I had to like pay my dues. It's like I'm the outsider, and that clique doesn't let anybody in. You know the way Brownsville people are. They're like, you know, out of towners, like, no, we don't want to deal with you. So it's like I knew I had to put, you know, that time in, that work in. You know, we made some historical things happen. Me and him got a really dope joint. You know, he's gonna be a friend for life. So shout out Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler, SMG.
Yeah, Christ, you know what I mean?
DV's like my best friend, like literally my best friend. Like we talk every single day. All hail the general.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I love DV alias Christ.
Do you have a joint with DV?
I feel like somebody probably put us on a record together, but we never sat down and did anything together.
Well,
we
you guys
about it a million times. Yeah, we spoke about it a million times and never did it.
Holy shit, a DV hook with a fucking Torae verse?
Sounds special.
Out of here. I want 10% for making this suggestion.
Don't worry about it. We figure it out. We figure out the math.
There you go. Okay, so moving right along. When did you first start to get like that buzz? Like, was it pre-MySpace days, or was it during that whole time?
It was definitely right in the MySpace era. That's when it took off for me. So in 2008, Daily Conversation, my mixtape came out, and that was the one that was like my breakthrough mixtape. Up until that point, I had been grinding. I was putting songs in Fat Beats. I was putting CDs in Beat Street, just, you know, really like pounding the pavement, trying to get known. But DJ Eclipse, shout out to DJ Eclipse from the halftime show from Rappers Out of Control. He was very instrumental in me moving forward in my career because, like I said, he allowed me to put my vinyl in Fat Beats. I had a vinyl on AV8 Records with my group, The Coalescence. That was like 05. That record being in Fat Beats and DJ Eclipse playing it, along with Susio Smash and Tim C playing it, got the attention of DjPremier. And once Preem heard the music, we had some mutual friends in common. Everything just kind of took off. And like I said, I'm just giving you the short version of the story, not to leave people out. But, you know, those dots connected. Shout out to Vega Benetton, who was my DJ at the time, and my group, The Coalescence. Those relationships that we all had started to come together. And, you know, I got the word, yo, Preem want to do a record with you. What? Preem want to do a record with me? I'm thinking people blowing smoke.
Stop right there. I need to know in every detail. First, who's the person that told you that Preem wants to do the record with you? And you don't even have to mention their name, but I just want to know, credible or bullshitter?
Super credible. Credible. Somebody I definitely believe when they said it. And like I said, so Vega Benetton, who was my DJ in The Coalescence, had did a mixtape. I think it was a salute to 94 or 95. I think it was to 94 though. And Preem had been a part of it. So I knew that they had a relationship forming, but Vega didn't rhyme. He was a DJ, but he would play my music. He would play my demos and be around Preem. And then there was somebody else who was there that helped connect dots as well. So when I got the word, and it was from a female, when I got the word from my sis, she was like, yo, Preem fuck with you. He want to do something with you. I was just like, my mind was blown. Preem had a crazy schedule and still does. So fast forwarding just a little bit through it, that was around the same time Sky Zoo was making his mark, and me and Sky was cool. Me and Sky had did records together or whatever. So they was like, yo, it's gonna be a Torae and Sky Zoo joint. Y'all cool with that? And it was like, nigga, you gonna put 100 people on the record. We going to D&D, aka headquarters, to record. So we was both super cool with it. And we went in the studio and actually made a record with Preem, like the craziest shit up until that point in my life I had ever done.
Now, was that for the record joint, or was that
that was we did a joint called Click. So we had a 12-inch vinyl that dropped in 07. Click in the beat. Okay. Get It Done was the A side and Click was the B side. And those are the first two records. Those are the first two records that I was on with DjPremier and Sky Zoo. And those records,
two dope records. Like, I mean, now, did you record anything else, or was just those two records?
So the first thing we put out was Get It Done, but the first beat that Preem made was the Click beat. Like, I'm talking about, made it right in the studio in front of us. Like, we were sitting there and talking shit and smoking and having a good time as Preem is thumbing through samples. Then he finds a sample and he's like, yo, I'm gonna put this together. So we went out in the lounge and watched a couple movies and shit like that. And then, I don't know, like fucking 3-4 o'clock in the morning, we in the lounge, like just low key and shit. Preem like, yo, I got something I want y'all to hear. We walk in the fucking main room and, you know what I mean? He hit that.
That was like musical cocaine. You were like,
yo, I was up. Yo, I was all the way up. Like, it was crazy. It was
nuts.
Crazy. So the MySpace days is really when it took off, because like that 12-inch came out through Fat Beats. Shout out to all my people at Fat Beats, way too many to name. But when that dropped to Fat Beats, my credibility, notoriety, recognition started to grow. And I put those two songs on that mixtape that also had production from Marco Polo and DjPremier, Marco Polo, Ninth Wonder, Crisis from the Justice League, Eric G. It was just one of those projects that people really, really fucked with, and it kind of like put me on the map, and my top 8 in MySpace changed.
There you go. I respect it. Now, did any labels come calling, or did you want to stay independent? Talk to me about, because you're not signed right now, correct?
No, not to a major label. No.
Now, is that by choice, or now? And we're gonna get back to the story. I'm just curious. Like, is that by choice, or because
I have business relationships with a few major labels, with stuff I do as a songwriter, and I will probably sign to a major publisher for an administration deal. I'm gonna do a new pub admin deal. I just got out of my last pub deal, so the next one I'll probably work with one of the bigger publishers, just because of the caliber of records that I'm working on. But this shit is like, I figured it out. Indie, and I don't need that part of the business. You know what I'm saying?
It's a blessing.
Do what I do. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I think that all artists should, do the direct to consumer, do their own Kickstarters, you were very innovative, in, that whole process, because that's not really the way that artists really develop their album, like they'll either self-fund it, or they'll, borrow, cheat, steal, lie, and do whatever they got to do to get all that shit done. So,
for sure.
So when did you start getting the respect of like the other rappers?
That came just as people started to put the name with the face and hear me and discover me. Like, I remember me always being a big Master Ace fan growing up, and us working out of the same studio. Shout out to my brother Filthy Rich. And Rich playing Ace some records and telling me when I came back, yo, Ace heard this record, he fucked with it, Ace heard the record. And then eventually I meet Master Ace, who's one of my heroes, right? One of my favorite MCs. He like, yo, your records is dope. We have a conversation. We start to kind of build a rapport. Yo, you ever been on tour before? On tour? I never been out of New York. Bullshit, right? But, never been on tour. He said, cool. When I drop this new album, I'm going to take you on tour with me. We going overseas. A man of his word, man, takes me out. We do, I think, 3 weeks in Canada to start. Then we do a month-long tour in Europe. It's my first time on the road. And just every time I touched down, every time I was in front of MCs, I made sure that they knew who the fuck I was when I left, so.
That's what's up. Getting back to the European tour. I think a lot of my viewers want to know, How many European chicks did you smash while you were out there?
The world is an oyster.
There you go. And he's dropping pearls everywhere. So all you little Toraes in England.
Yeah, man.
Don't try to come here and get no money.
Yeah, it's like a little German kid out there with a beard. You know what I mean? Might be. Might not.
That's funny. That's funny. So talk to me about some of the struggles that you faced. Like, I mean, it's like everything right now sounds like a blessing. Right. So I got to imagine there has to be some doors that close in your face, some heartbreak, some, and I hate to bring up, because we're having such a great time. I don't want to bring down, the mood, but I mean, that's why I'm about to.
Journey. That's part of the journey. And it's the most important part because it's how you bounce back from that shit is what you do. Right. So, let's see. I just remember so I'm a rapper, right? I got a project out. I've been on a couple of tours and I made some money. This is Myspace days. I'm charging people $1,200, $1,500 for a verse. This is the craziest shit ever, right? And eventually that shit slows down and somebody else is hot and, somebody else comes with a new fire record produced by Pete Rock or whatever. And now they're the hot guy. And then you got to figure it out. So you blow through the money and you really have nothing to show for it. And then you like, shit, I still got responsibilities. I got bills. And then you humble yourself and you figure out how to get to this bread. So I was doing shit that I needed to make ends meet. I remember like having an album out, having songs out, all of this shit. And I went and got a job at Domino's, like delivering fucking pizza, which I hated.
I did the same shit. The same shit.
It was the flexible schedule. It was to be able to do what I want. So I got real cool with the manager. So when I say I hated it, I really didn't hate it. I got cool with the manager. The manager allowed me to work whenever I wanted to and wouldn't put me on a schedule when I didn't need to be. And it was just the illest shit because, again, I had the flexibility and freedom to really still do what I needed to do. And when it got to the 16th of the month and I said, yo, I ain't gonna have no money on the first, I went and worked those last 2 weeks and made the bread. So it was fortunate even in that sense that I was able to click with somebody or some people that allowed me to still pursue my dream. So that shit was like, it was crazy because most people don't have the option to do that. Like you on the clock, you on the schedule, you got to work 9 to 5 or whatever. I was able to still do what I needed to do, but do what I needed to do for the career. And it was humbling. It was humbling. Like I said, I hated it in the fact that, damn, I was like, I got so close and I feel like this is a setback. But really what it was just the next opportunity formulating and me learning how to grow from it.
And that's very admirable too, because I mean, listen, being from Coney Island and the place that you're from in Coney Island is a rough place for people that don't understand. Do your research and it's all out there and Googleable, whatever the fucking word is.
That shit. You know how to get it.
Yeah. So the fact that you actually had the presence of mind, and I attribute that probably to your mother, in bringing you up right, that you didn't turn to the streets and hustle like Coney Island is, known for. Like there's a lot of hustlers, gangsters, and pimps over there. Shout out to all of them, by the way.
Sure, those are my peoples too.
Yeah, keep me safe. When I go to, I forgot the name of that. It's been so long since I've been out. I can't even remember the name of the place that I used to go to on the boardwalk over there. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So it's pretty admirable that you're able to, get the job at Domino's, not turn to hustling on the streets. You're able to find something flexible and you're able to continue this grind. And I like to bring up a lot of things because if for people that don't know, you're super successful, whether they deem, millions of dollars in the bank or the accolades that you have. My view or the general consensus, and I'll speak for, a large majority, you have the presence of a very, very successful person within the hip hop industry, which is a very hard thing to do. So I like to bring up, people's struggle, their journey, because it's all part of it. You can't really enjoy the taste of victory until you've, really ate the agony of defeat. So, and for a lot of artists, they want to skip that whole grind, that whole put in your work, put in your time. They think that they're going to go viral and they're going to be an instant success. Just because one of your videos goes viral does not mean you have the talent to sustain an actual career. So So what do you have to say to those artists out there that think that they can skip the grind, that they think that they're just bad enough to do it, without putting that real work in?
Yo, I remember in school when you used to have to do a math problem and shit, and you could just put the answer down, right? And the teacher would say, show your work. I want to know how you got here. Whether you got the answer right or wrong, I want to know how you got here. And you can drop something and it hit and it go crazy. And maybe you take off from there. Maybe you do all the right things and you stay up. But 9 times out of 10, if you don't put that work in to get there, you're not going to know how to sustain it. You're not going to have the relationships. You're not going to have the wherewithal. You're not going to have the desire to hustle. And so for me, man, all of those little dips just built the character, built the catalog, built the relationships, built me up to be able to come back and do it bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought Click and Get It Done was going to be my biggest records. And then For the Record came. And then, then I did the album with Duck Down. And then, it just kept going and going. Now the artists that I'm working with, I'm like, fuck, these are some of the biggest artists in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sky's still a limit. It's still so far to go, so much further to go. So, the grind, though, the grind is what keeps you there. The grind is what keeps you honest. And that's why, I've been able to just continue to persevere. You said Renaissance man when we started. That's really what developed that, was like the need to learn how to do all these different things. And now my toolbox is just flooded.
That's what's up. And speaking about, toolbox, I might be a pause, but, let me...
somewhere down, yeah.
I mean, whatever. Talk to me about the transition into radio. How did that come about? And why did you think that was a move that you should make?
Well, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was a move that I should make. And I was very much against it when it was initially presented to me. It came from DJ Eclipse, and I mentioned him earlier along because, again, he's the guy who put me on halftime radio and let me rhyme and people pay attention. He's the guy who took my records and put me in Fat Beats on consignment. He's a guy who's always been helpful for me. And so we had built a relationship. He knew my pedigree. He knew the type of person I was, and he knew my personality. And so I think maybe in 2009 or 10, he reached out to me and was like, yo, Tor, I do my radio show. I need a new co-host for my radio show. I think you'd be dope to do it. I was like, well, I can't do radio because I'm a rapper. Like, that don't even make sense. Rappers don't do radio. Rappers don't do podcasts. Rappers don't talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is before everybody was able to do this shit. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it didn't make sense. But because it was DJ Eclipse and because I have the utmost respect for him and forever indebted to him, I couldn't just flat out say no. So I had to say, okay, I'll try it and see how I feel about it.
Now, and was that a paid gig, or was that like see how you like it?
Free for 5 years. I was on his show. Paid gas, paid Subway, bought my own food, whatever I needed to do. If I came outside and my car got hit, I had to pay for that. It was unpaid, but it was the experience, the lifetime of experience that I was able to get in that building, making relationships. Like, we did the underground rap show. So we were on Sunday nights in the middle of the night when nobody's in the building. But I know the magnitude of this building. I know this building comes alive Monday through Friday in the daytime. I know motherfucking Madonna might walk through here and Stevie Wonder might come this way and Quincy Jones might be over there. So I just know that this building is special, and I know I'm not getting everything out of the building that I could get. And so after doing the Eclipse's show with him for, like I said, man, like 4 or 5 years, I went to the program director of the station and I said, yo, I think I want to try my own show. I was like, but I already do the underground indie rap show, so I want to do a mainstream show. I want to sit with people that I'm not going to be able to have relationships with, who haven't crossed my path. This is how you sit down with the Ice Cubes of the world. This is how you sit down with the Kevin Harts of the world. This is how you sit down with, the list goes on and on and on. But the program director, my man, Reggie Hawkins, he believed in me. He said, Torae, if anybody could do it, you could do it. I'm going to give you a shot. And that's all I ever asked for is a shot. So he gave me a shot, and I've had my own show, primetime mainstream show, for the last 7 years.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, it's such an incredible story. I mean, it's I don't mean this like in like a shade way at all. It's surprising that you're not much huger pause than you are now, because you seem less boisterous than like most rappers. Like they want to be like loud and like out there and in your face, but you kill them with kindness. You do it in a subtle way. Like I always say that, real gangsters don't have to say anything. And the loudest person in the room is usually the biggest clown. So
you said it earlier, man, like you let the work speak for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been me. And, obviously, or not obviously, but probably to my detriment to some point, because yeah, I could talk about everything I do. I could fucking put it in your face and pose and all that, but that's just not me. I show up, I give you 110% and I fucking leave. And wherever that 110% rolls out and however people become aware of it, that's not on me. All I know is how to fucking get there and do the best job I know how to do. And so for me, man, it's just my journey. It's just my journey. And so I appreciate the people that know what I do, or the people that do the research and shit. And, like I got great relationships. I know a lot of motherfucking multi-millionaires. I pick them up, call the phone right now. Like I live a comfortable life. You know what I'm saying?
And I secretly think you have dirt on everyone because I've been in like you. I've been in the game since 1996, and I'm not super loud because I had to kind of earn my place, because then nobody wants that loud ass fucking white boy, even though I had these hands back in the day. But every single person that I called was like, no, I can't tell you anything about it. I can't tell you anything about Torrey. Cool ass motherfucker. I was like, damn. I was like, he must have dirt on everyone. And
I'm just a cool ass motherfucker, like they say.
I could see it. And I wasn't trying to get on like, no petty shit. Actually, maybe I was, because I just saw like the Wendy Williams thing, and I know, Miss Jones is back on the radio. So it's like, the gossip and shit. I was like, maybe I need to get these ratings. No, I'm just kidding. Did you see the Wendy Williams movie?
I did watch the Wendy Williams. We grew up in New York City, so like around the same time. So that was just you remember that shit. You remember how crazy it was. You remember her being a person who was outing shit and how many people hated her, and so you just curious. I was just curious. I was like, I got to see her side of the story. I want to see what she has to say. So yeah, I checked it out.
Yeah, I was one of my boys, a mutual friend. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to blow him up, but he had it like 5 days or like 6 days like ahead of everyone. Early. So it's like we had a little like private Zoom thing, and we watched it, and now I don't know why I'm on the Zoom with these legends, but it's like they all have all their own stories of it. So it's like after we watched the 3 hour movie, and then the 3 hour like biography with her narrating it, then we had like an hour discussion after it, and it was like, well, they didn't talk about this. They didn't talk. I'm not going to air out her dirty laundry or anything like that. But man, it was fucking funny. So it was kind of cool, watching that, and just seeing the evolution of how radio and personalities kind of came to be, in there. So, and you're one that is completely opposite, from that. Yeah, that sort of approach.
Yeah, so, this shit I don't do, man. I know enough about the culture and the people that I sit with. Like I respect their time and I respect what they bring. And so I never sit with people that I'm not like that I don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Like just for me, it's a waste of time.
So you fuck with me, yeah? Because you're sitting with me, so you fuck with me. There you go, yo. Torae just co-signed me. There we go.
But you, I saw you in the comments, and I saw your social media presence and shit. And like I try to be easy to get along with and try to do shit. I try to be a good guy, man. But now, like, we've had a conversation. I fuck with you, follow back and all of that. But yeah, anybody that I'm interviewing is just somebody that I respect. And so I don't have to go for the salacious shit, because there's more than enough things to talk about for the people that I respect that we never have to get into. It's too many people doing the negative shit. So for me, we can just have a good old conversation about whatever it is that you do and that you feel comfortable and proud of talking about.
That's a fact. Who was your favorite person to interview?
Man,
I know that's a tough question because you literally have done everybody. Pause.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, man. I couldn't say a favorite person. You know, I was talking to Stephen A. Smith just like 2 days ago.
I caught
and,
that.
Yeah, shout out to Stephen A. And he said that he asked Denzel, "What's your favorite movie that you've done?" And Denzel said, "The next one." You know, he was like, "The next one is my favorite. It's always getting to the next shit. It's always growing. It's always, you know, growing and getting bigger and better and shit." So, you know, I'm a still I take a page out of that. My favorite interview was the next one.
I respect it. I mean, it's a great answer. It totally is. What was your worst interview?
My worst interview, I was able to make it. I was able to make something of it.
But and you could put them on blast because we're like late in the podcast. I doubt that
people
are going to watch it. And I won't clickbait it. I promise. I swear.
I promise. Godson. No, my worst interview I did was early on when I sat with Migos. And it was just because they didn't have a lot of media training and they didn't answer questions fully. And it was just a mess. It was a fucking mess. And I say that because I've interviewed them about 3 or 4 times since then. And it's really dope when you see artists grow and develop. And this is whether you like Migos, you listen to their music or not, you can't deny their impact in music. Anyway, and I'm also just about 3 motherfuckers from the slums making it out and making it way. Like I always got to respect that bottom line. So anyway, you know, seeing their growth and development and the fact that they was able to come out of their shells and learn how to conduct interviews. So like, yeah, but the first time I sat with them, it was terrible. And then there was one time I was drunk on air during the interview. And
I don't know nothing about being drunk.
Nothing about that, ladies and gentlemen. JopauL would never. Yeah, I went to an industry event prior to the interview, and it was like an open bar, and I partook in that open bar. And by the time I got back to the station, I was like, "Oh shit, I got a little buzz." And I was sitting with R&B artist Case, formerly signed to Def Jam. I was sitting with Case, and I was trying to get my shit together, but I was moving slow. Like I was going like this, but the shit was moving slow in real time. And I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, man. I had a couple drinks before I got here, and I might be a little off." He was like, "Nigga, you good?" And he dapped me, and we had a great conversation, and we've been really good friends ever since. Like that's my man. So even my bad interviews have had positive outcomes.
It's a great outlook on life. I love it. So, you know, in doing, you know, research, in doing research about like, you know, your life and your come up and stuff like that. And I had this like thought, do you believe hip hop works in mysterious ways?
Wow. It has to.
Okay. I'm going to tell you how, or at least this, like, okay. And this just happened. And I can send you the screenshots to show it to you. So in doing research about you, I was watching an old podcast that you were doing. I was also, you know, on my phone, you know, on Instagram, and I got hit up by Fred the Godson's producer, Russ PG, and you know, talking to me about the salute, you know, and rest in peace. And he's talking to me about the new album, you know, or the new shit that's coming out. And the shirt that you're wearing is Ali. The shit that he's coming out with is Ali. And it literally happened at the same time. It's like, what's the chances that I'm researching a 6-year-old interview that you did where you're wearing a shirt that says Ali, and then Fred the Godson's producer hits me up and is like, yo, I just want to let you know, I really fuck with you. Check out, Fred's new shit called Ali. If you could mention on the podcast, that'd be great. I was like, bro, I took a picture of fucking what I was watching, and it was you with the Ali shirt. So hip hop works in mysterious ways.
Man, Fred, thank you, Fred. That was Fred giving us his blessing, man. I believe that, man.
Such a shame.
I got Gordo, yeah, man. Rest in peace to Gordo. That shit really hurt, man. Like, I lost so many people last year. It was crazy. Fred is one of those people that
it's unreal.
Yeah, man. His impact in this shit is it goes far beyond just the rhymes. Like Fred was one of the greats, man. Rest in peace, Frederico. My God, Gordo, man. Love you, bro.
And speaking about Fred, what do you think about, and I don't want to get all morbid on here and stuff like that, but, Fred the Godson did pass away from coronavirus, and we still are in a pandemic. So what do you think about all these people on your timeline secret party, DM for details, and they're posting and no masks. It's like anyone in the hip hop community, isn't it like disrespect directly to Fred the Godson, who died of coronavirus, to go out there and live so frivolously? Now, I don't know what side of the fence you seem like a very smart person, so I can guess that, you exercise on the side of caution,
I haven't been anywhere, you know what I mean? Like very, very minimal moves. I've been invited to every party, every release, I'm like, listen, if it's not 1,000% necessary I'll be there, then I won't be there. One thing about hip hop, man, is that it's very fearless and courageous, and it thinks it's invincible. And especially when you look at young people, you know what I'm saying? Like young people they have reckless abandon, and so I think that's how a lot of people are moving out there. Some grown-ups, some adults out there doing shit too, but to each his own. I can only be responsible for myself and the decisions I make. And yeah, you ain't seen me at no party with no mask on. Like my man hit me and he was like, yo, Torae, come to my birthday. I'm doing it. I was like, yo, fam, like we in a pandemic. He like, yeah, but like just come. I was like, no. It's my birthday. I was like, yo, fam, I'm not showing up. But if I do pass through, I will come through real quick just to show love. I got a mask on. He was like, you're gonna be the only person wearing a mask. I was like, yeah, well, that means I'm not showing up, period, then. Cause
that's a fact. Yo, I celebrated my 40th birthday alone because it was right in the middle of the pandemic. I had to piggyback off my boy Rob's birthday, that we did a Zoom. I think you were on that Zoom.
Rob Love?
Rob Love with Russell?
Yeah.
I was celebrating my 40th birthday while he was celebrating his, he didn't tell us what his real age is, but whatever birthday he was. But that was, I bring that up because as much as I wanted to go out and wild out and, what I'm saying, like fuck some 20-year-old bitches and, like wake up, somewhere with like no clothes, and just blame it, on white privilege, I need to exercise on the side of caution. But that right there was one of the best birthday presents I could have ever had when Russell was like,
that was fun.
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night. Thank God I was wearing my stupid glasses because I was literally tearing under there. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this just happened. So
shout out to my brother Rob Love. Yeah, for sure, man. That was a dope time. But yeah, same thing with me. My birthday's in March. So it's crazy. My mother's birthday is in March, right? Her birthday is the 2nd of March. So early in March last year, we were able to celebrate my mother's birthday. I was with her, bought a cake, we had food, the whole shebang, right? That was on the 2nd. By the time my birthday came around on the 18th, we were in lockdown. No party, no, you know what I mean? Like nothing. I thought I'd be doing. It was a dub. And shout out to my family because, my family that I was quarantined with was still able to hold me down. But it's so crazy how that 2 weeks made all the difference in the world. And now I'm about to come into my next birthday and still no party.
It's fucked up. You know what they said? And I'm not going to get like all scientific and medical and stuff like that. And I've already taken up a bunch of your time. And I know that, you're very busy. So, but they say that if every single person wears a KN95 mask for the next 4 weeks, the virus could be gone.
Really?
A motherfucking month. And we're back to work. We're back to work in the clubs, in the strip clubs, promoting records, making money, doing what we do.
No, but everybody's not going to do it. And that's where the problem lies.
Oh, I see it. I see it on my timeline. I see it in Atlanta. I see it in fucking Miami. I see it in Dallas. I see it in New York. There's so many people. I've literally, and I'm not going to go on a rant here because I always swore that I would save that for Instagram. But there are so many people that when this is over, when they want to work with me, because I know that everyone is itching to, I'm not saying I'm the fucking greatest, I'm saying, but I know that people have a genuine interest in working with me. I'm literally going to say, no, I saw how you acted during the pandemic.
I saw how you was moving during the pandemic. I can't.
Yeah. And I can't fuck with you. I can't, because you're the reason that this took so long. Yeah. You're the motherfucker that was in back of the class that was fooling around when all of us are finished our work and we want to go to the school dance, but because you motherfuckers fucked around, the teacher said, nope, no one's going.
Nobody can go to the dance.
Anyway, Torae, listen, it's been great chopping it up with you. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Tell everyone where they can find you and what's up next.
At Torae on Instagram, Twitter, if you feel so inclined to fuck with me. I'm also on SiriusXM Hip Hop Nation Monday through Friday. You can catch me there. What's up next? Anytime people ask me that question, I mean, I give the most cliche answer, but it's the realest shit for me. I let God guide my steps. And I say that because if it was just going according to my plan, I would have hit my pinnacle 10 years ago. All the shit that I thought I wanted to do and accomplish, I've been surpassed. So for me, man, it's just like the next opportunity. What I do is I keep doing the work and opportunities keep finding me. But to give some type of answer, very, very much.
Just throw out something.
Television and film is what I'm really passionate about. So I'm, just looking for ways to continue to pursue that. Being on TV and movies, I've got my feet wet in a couple of roles on both. So I'm just looking to continue that. People keep asking me for music, and I know that it's been like 2 years since I dropped the project. So I think
just a little bit. But I mean, listen, we had the pandemic as an excuse, and you are the host of Hip Hop Nation on fucking Sirius XM. I mean, you're working.
I also take 2 years even without a pandemic. But yeah, I'm kind of getting the bug, the itch to get back to recording. So there's that. And, just having fun with writing, man. Having fun with writing for other artists because it's really a dope, it's just a dope experience. Like the first time I heard my stuff on the radio was crazy. And then the first time I heard something I wrote coming out of somebody else's mouth on the radio was crazy. So for me, that's just fun because it gives me another creative outlet to say and do shit that might not fit into the Torae brand, but still part of my artistic expression. So that's what
it all falls under the umbrella because no matter what, you are the brand. I mean, you're the essence of the brand. I mean, it's like you got one name like Prince, like just Torae. Like me, JopauL. Except I got I got the white and Jewish thing, and the bald head. But talk to me about, before I let you go, talk to me about how you felt when you first heard your song on the radio, because I know for me. Let me explain how whack this was. So my girl at the time is asleep on the couch and I'm watching it on my computer and recording it at the same time because it's a blizzard outside and I can't go outside to, go record, Hot 97, on the actual radio on my car. So as soon as I hear my song, and she's passed out, I literally jump up and I'm like, I like run over to her without actually making a sound, and I'm in her face. I'm like, because that's it's almost like you made it. Even though it's different times now, it's a lot different, now. But talk to me about how you felt when you first heard it on the radio.
Just amazing, man. Just amazing. Like hearing your voice, come through the airwaves. You're like, oh shit, I sound like that, or you hear the Dolby surround shit sound different from the radio antenna and all that. So it's dope. It's dope. I think the first thing I might have heard, and not to be funny and shit, it's been so fucking long. I think the first thing I might have heard might have been Red Alert playing a joint, or it might have been a promo I did for Steph Lover and Dame Dash for Dame Dash Radio or some shit like that. But I just remember being super excited. More recently, as I really a record got going, Click and Get It Done. Peter Rosenberg was a big supporter of that on Hot 97. And I remember one time being in the car with my wife. We was driving over the Brooklyn Bridge. It was 1 a.m. We was coming from hanging out at some shit in the city. And I'm driving. And for the first 20 seconds, I'm like, yo, I know that. But it didn't click that it was my record. I said, oh shit. We casually turned the volume up. And,
was it Click?
It might have been Click, or it might have been Get It Done. It was one of those two. Probably Get It Done.
Oh, that would have been great if it was Click, because you were it didn't click. Yeah, but it was Click.
Yeah, but it clicked. Yeah, so just it was really the scene of it, driving over the Brooklyn Bridge with your lady on some late night shit, and then here comes your record playing. So
did you look over to your lady and be like, yeah,
how the fuck we do it?
That's me.
I was proud.
That's me. Proud. That's me right there.
Anytime my family hears me on something and sees me on something, or my kids, that's really what makes me proud. I was in the Christmas movie last year. Before we go, because I definitely want to. I was in the Christmas movie last year, and there was no curses, there was no profanity, no fuck shit, and my whole family, my grandmother, my cousins that go to church, everybody was able to enjoy it, and so that for me was a special moment, because for all the years and all the work I've been doing, 99% of the shit has been explicit. So just to have something out there that everybody could enjoy was real dope for me.
Hey, listen, that's dope. And I appreciate, you sharing the story with us because, you're born to bully the beat, then body it.
That's that part.
Exactly. But everyone, make sure you check out, Torae, his latest projects. Make sure you check him out on Sirius XM. I like to leave you with a quote that I basically apply to life, and I'd like everyone to apply life to it. We are all just here for a small cup of coffee. I'm just trying to drink it while it's still hot. I am your host. I am JopauL. This has been the Verified Podcast. We were just chopping it up with Torae. We are brought to you by Radio Pushes that results in no hype. Make sure you stay tuned and check us out on the Verified Podcast. One love. Peace.